Hi, everyone, and welcome to today's founder interviews. I'm joined today by Padaree from Lightwork. I'm Cathy, I'm from Microsoft for Startups, and these founder interviews are part of our Highway to 100 Unicorns program. I'll kick straight off by asking Padaree, what is it that Lightwork does?
Thank you, Katie. So Lightwork, we are an automation and AI startup. So what we do is we build virtual employees and deploy it for companies so that all the tasks can be helped and can be automated by software robots.
Wowzers. I mean, that's definitely something that's a big thing. And I am curious to know what it is that you face every day as challenges in that line of work.
I think one of the challenges that we face is building a scalable software that's both easy to scale and easy to maintain, right? And normally for easy to scale software, it has to be fast, but for like ready to scale software, it has to be like thorough and it's slower. So we always find ourselves kind of like stuck in between these two angles.
And your solution is low code, which makes it really, really accessible. I think for such an intricate, complex startup concept, making something low code really makes it accessible to a lot more people. Does it mean more work for you at the back end?
Yeah, definitely. I think it means a lot more work for us to design this low-code platform. And also another challenge that we face is finding experts in specific fields because we have to build many integrations to help us solve like technical issues.
Mm. And that can often yield more questions than it does answers. When you come across somebody who's really good at what they do and you start collaborating, they start illuminating more things. So as a founder's work is never done, but it's always important. And you know, being a part of the Highway to 100 Unicorns program, we hope to take on some of that work with you and help you through those moments. Did you have any specific aspirations when you came into this program that you wanted to achieve during the year?
Yeah, so essentially our main market now is in Thailand. We aspire to expand the market reach to Southeast Asia and like in the longer term internationally throughout like the world. And I think Microsoft 500 Unicorn would be a very big part of helping us achieve that.
Yeah. And if it all does go well, what do you think that means for Thailand? If Lightwork goes gangbusters and you are a big global company, how do you think that will come back to driving economic growth in Thailand?
Yes, sure. I think that's one of my personal aspirations as well to help increase Thailand competitiveness through like technology to enable us to be able to compete globally and be more attractive for international investor. That would be great. Yeah, I think one of the goal that's why we want to go global is we want to prove like our country's capabilities that like we have human resource, we have the skills, and we can get there, and that would be a very good influence and inspiration for Thai startup scene as well.
You're absolutely right. And it's a pleasure for us to have you in the program because it's not so easy for tier 2 cities to kind of get the same exposure as, you know, main cities around the world. And it just doesn't ever mean that the huge things, the next big things are not happening there. So it's just as important for us to see you go global as it is for us to take you there. And I think what is important also is, you know, the next big growth opportunity for your startup. What's the next big thing beyond what you actually do for Lightwork?
So right now, our main clientele are in enterprise sector. What we want to do is want to expand this like automation and AI capabilities to wider audiences. What we are seeing now is that we want to expand these capabilities to SME customers, and that's how we plan to grow the market.
And has there been, I noticed that, you know, your timeline, you started the business in 2019, which was, I guess, just before the world as we knew it changed. What did that mean for Lightwork when COVID hit and everything went upside down?
I think from internal operation side, we don't face any change because initially we were remote and flexible like company from the beginning. Like we work through like teleconference and we come into office maybe like a few days a week. So in terms of internal operation, it doesn't change much, and we also find it smooth in the transition because the way it initially structured. However, on the client facing side, it's very hard to onboard new clients without having a face-to-face interaction. I think that's what we found like quite difficult. Even though we have like Microsoft Team or like telecommunication tools, it's still different. It's still not as like we are meeting face to face, and I think that's make it harder or slower to onboard new clients.
Got it. Well, in a bit of a turnaround, I'm going to ask you then, when your business is virtual assistants and kind of taking out the need for that face-to-face interaction with people, how do you find that middle ground between what Lightwork does and what you as a person and an entrepreneur and a human need in terms of contact?
You mean in our work or like in general?
I think, yeah, in a bit of both. I mean, like, you know, to your point that getting things done without being face to face and without interacting with people, do you find that Lightworks virtual assistant software takes that into account and still kind of, I think, respects the fact that human contact is important, but this is like, you know, an enhanced version of that? Or how do you find a middle ground between making everything a virtual space and also the acknowledgement that human contact is still super important?
Understand. Yeah, I definitely agree that human contact is very important, and I wouldn't want it to be 100% like robotics or like 100% automation for sure. What we see is that like in every task that we have or like our interaction, there are always multiple like processes. Like there are some certain processes that require creativities or like connection, relationship building. Those we definitely encourage those to be done by human. For example, like sales calls or like customer relationship understanding. Those are what we dedicated human to do. I think, and for those tasks, a lot of times those tasks cannot be done because the employee or our human time don't have enough time for that, and we have to do many non-creative work like processing work or calculating work or doing report work, which I think a lot of paperwork, like what we found quite boring. So I would dedicate that, okay, for those boring tasks that we all don't like to do, we don't be transfer those to like the virtual employee or have the technology do it. And so we have more time to do more fun things or to do more strategic or like relationship building things.
Yeah, I've never quite heard it that articulate, but that makes a lot of sense to me. If you free up human time to do creative things, that kind of really should be where we are focused and are able to be a little bit more expressed and stretch our muscles a little bit better. When you are deciding, making technical decisions, what kind of criteria do you have?
So I think it would be, would this be friendly for customer? Would it be easy to maintain, or like what would be the highest like security risks that could happen with this function that we decide? But yeah, but the main factor would be the client facing aspect, like what customers will interact with it, or like would it add simplicity rather than complexity to our customer?
Amazing. Well, before we wrap up, I might just throw it over to you and see if there is anything that you would like to add for the audience, you know, either about Lightwork's next steps or any kind of crazy stories about how Lightwork started, or indeed, what is it like to go to Harvard?
Well, it's let's
Feel
start
free not
with,
to answer the last one. Just I'll just get it in there that you're somebody who knows, and there aren't many of you. Maybe tell me a little bit about what's next for Lightwork.
Well, we are progressing more on building SMEs solutions. As we are progressing, as we're growing, we got so many requests from customers who don't have like large budget to pay as corporates. And we think it's quite sad that, well, we can only provide that to like the high paying customers so far because of the cost of the technology. So right now we're trying to find a way to make the solution smaller, but this small solution will cost much less for SME, and SME will be able to adopt this new technology, whether like AI, like OCR or automation easier. That's what we aim to do. And because to move the economy for us is we cannot just move the corporate, we cannot just move the rich. We have to be able to move like the medium size or even small size people as well. I think that's what we're trying to do and trying to figure out like what's the best way and fastest way to achieve that.
Yeah.
What I would add on joining the program is what I found helpful is having a talk with a technical expert, because building a local solution, we need to build kind of like a Lego or like pieces that have to be able to integrate with so many infrastructure and so many software. And doing that, we have to tap into many like expert area that I don't think we have enough manpower or enough like time to research everything. So I think like having to be able to talk with the expert, like both in terms of software integration, security, or like software infrastructure design is very helpful.
Well, thanks for the feedback. I think for anybody watching that's thinking about doing the program, you've heard it right there. It does enable you to scale up a team that you might not have access to or that you might not be able to build at the time, and really help sort out those big challenges that you're wanting to overcome early or mid or at whatever stage of your journey you're at. Well, best of luck. I think you are absolutely on your way to becoming a unicorn, and that accessibility that you talked about, where you can make it available to a greater mass of people, is kind of where you shoot through and become a unicorn. When everybody can use your product, they do use it. So congratulations so far. We can't wait to check in again in a few months and see where you're at. But thanks so much for being a part of our program. We're really delighted to have you on board.
Thank you so much, Cathy, and thank you for all the support that we got from the program so far.
Oh, our pleasure. Okay, thanks, Padaree.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Have a good day.